Hi there, this is the fanciful and flamboyant F-pawn mate trap in the Max Lange defense, which is an opening that lends itself to some of the sharpest tactical lines around. So after e4, e5, knight f3 and knight c6, bishop c4 and knight f6. We've got the two knights defense, but here white goes for d4, and after e takes on d4, white castles. And now when black defends the pawn on d4, white presses on with e5, hitting the knight. So black counters here, doesn't move the knight, counters in the center with d5, the counter thrust. After e takes on f6 and d takes on c4, white plays rook e1, gaining time, hitting the king along the e-file. Either king f8 or bishop e6, bishop e6 being the most common move, and loads of tactics after this move, knight g5. Now threatening capturing on e6, and the rook's going to take as well. We've seen that the queen capturing on f6 is a common trap. We'll see it again, because after queen takes f6, knight takes e6, followed by f takes e6, queen to h5, is check, and that's picking up the bishop on c5. So queen takes f6 is a mistake. The correct move, queen d5. That allows a gain of tempo for white. Knight c3 hitting the queen. The queen is the knight is immune from capture, because on d takes on c3, then queen takes queen is going to be winning for white, because of course the bishop on e6 is being pinned by the rook on e1. So a lot going on in this position. Queen f5, the theoretical move here, and that allows either g4 now immediately, or now knight to e4, knight c e4. Well, the correct move, I believe, in this position here is for black to castle with equality, but it's so easy to run into trouble now. The bishop on c5 looks a bit vulnerable, so bishop back to f8. I once played this myself as black and I got killed, I recall. Bishop back to f8, because it defends the pawn on g7, so it kind of makes sense. But after bishop f8, now white has this sacrificial line, knight takes on f7. Well, if bishop takes f7, there's going to be trouble along the e-file once that knight on e4 is moved. So we see king takes on f7. That's followed by knight g5, hitting the king and the bishop on e6. So when the king slides back to g8, now we can play this thematic move in the Max Lange, g4 hitting the queen. And if queen takes g4, which isn't the right move, we'll have a look. The correct move should be queen g6, because then after rook takes on e6, g takes on f6, black is just about surviving. But after queen takes on g4, white is winning after queen takes on g4, swapping queens, because after bishop takes on g4, that little pawn on f6 advances one square to f7, and that is checkmate. So this has been the f-pawn mate trap in the Max Lange defense. Thanks for watching. Bye.